viewers, and welcome to the newspaper review here on SAF TV for today, the 31st, and of course the last day of May 2023. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, you're making a big mistake. Please click the subscribe button and make sure you follow us on our different social media platforms, okay? Cyril Aloysius is my name, and I'm not here alone. As you can see, I have a very beautiful personality beside me. Her name is Natasha Brown.
Thank
Brown,
you,
you're welcome.
Cyril.
The ever and always looking beautiful Natasha Brown.
Thank you, thank you. And I totally miss newspaper review. I mean, I'm glad to be here again.
Yeah, I know you miss me too, and I miss you too, okay? Yeah, so I and Natasha Brown will be looking at the papers today and, of course, bringing you interesting headlines in different newspapers across the nation. And we'll be starting first by looking at The Guardian, where we have some interesting headlines. This one on page 6 says, Nationwide chaos. Pain as stakeholders seek caution on subsidy removal. Nationwide chaos. Pain as stakeholders seek caution on subsidy removal. That story is on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. And on page 3, this one says, Tinubu reinstates sanity as DSS, EFCC squabble over property in Lagos. Tinubu reinstates sanity as DSS, EFCC squabble over property in Lagos. That's on page 3 of The Guardian. Still on page 3, this one says, PEPC admits 5 exhibits from Obi. Print out of Beaver's results from Atiku. PEPC admits 5 exhibits from Obi. Print out of Beaver's results from Atiku. That's on page 3 as well of The Guardian newspaper. And still on page 3, this one says, Tinubu Shetima resume in Aso Villa as Nigerians await official appointments. Tinubu Shetima resume in Aso Villa as Nigerians await official appointments. That story is on page 3 as well. And over now to page 15 of The Guardian. This one says, Burst welcomes Tinubu, records highest gain in 2 years. Burst welcomes Tinubu, records highest gain in 2 years. That's on page 15 of The Guardian newspaper. And on page 4, this one says, Population Commission, 200 billion naira vote, botch 2023 census. Population Commission, 200 billion naira vote and botched 2023 census. That's on page 4 of The Guardian. And lastly, in The Guardian here, we have on page 5, this one says, court justifies government's no work, no pay rule against ASU. Court justifies government's no work, no pay rule against ASU. That's on page 5 of The Guardian newspaper. Natasha Brown, please, I would like to get your thoughts. Of course, what you think about the news here. The headline on page 6 is talking about chaos, nationwide chaos, pain as stakeholders seek caution on subsidy removal.
Aren't we here again? I think first things first, this whole subsidy removal drama and talk has been on way back, Jonathan, if not even before Jonathan. Jonathan at a point in time was going to take up subsidy removal and there was massive protest. Right? Buhari tried, and now Tinubu has come with a bang.
Okay.
Subsidy removal gone. And immediately we started feeling the effects of it. But I begin to wonder, he simply just made the proclamation, right? He just said it 2 days ago, and immediately price hike. In places like Port Harcourt, in places like River State, Abuja, they're yet to have the price hike because I think my sister bought at about 195 as at yesterday. But here we're hearing 550, 400, 450. And it's just really crazy. Like, it's a crazy time that we're in. But let's not forget that the federal government they've been dancing around this subsidy removal. We knew it was going to come, but we didn't know the when.
Yes.
So, and we already knew. They had made us understand that we are spending a lot of money on this
subsidy.
Yes, you know, and so this was definitely something that had to be removed. But definitely, we knew there was also the other part where we needed to get our refineries working, so we could be able to refine our products here as well.
Are the subsidy? Sorry to cut you, Natasha, but are the advantages bigger than the disadvantages of the subsidy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually, because at the end of the day, it is too expensive
Okay.
It's too expensive a thing, you know, expensive a finance to keep, you know, servicing, you know, every other year. So we did see it coming. We just didn't have the president that was strong-willed enough to do it, because definitely we knew there was going to be this uproar. I'm not saying that I don't understand the plights of Nigerians, but it is needed. And we know that before the President Bola Tinubu came into office, it had already, there was a time toward the tail end of Buhari's tenure, it was a heated argument, and even there were stipulations and there were contemplations that fuel price hike was going to go to about 750 per litre. Okay. Right? But at the end of the day, even the marketers and distributors, so to speak, the Petroleum Commission and all that, they had come out to say, no, it wouldn't get up to that, but definitely around 400 thereabout. So Bola coming into office and just going with a bang saying subsidy gone. Okay, we knew it was going to happen, but I think the crux of the matter is the greed of the people, the greed of marketers. It's gone, it's simply taken off, and the next minute, it's still the same crude product. You haven't gone to buy any new products. It's still the same one you've been selling. All of a sudden, you just hike the price, knowing fully well that it will translate into transportation, food, and all of that.
It's not almost like they were waiting for the order from Tinubu.
Right, right. So at the end of the day, I understand the pain of Nigerians. I mean, even the vehicle I came into today, he didn't turn on his AC. I mean, so it was hot and all of that because, I mean, fuel price hike. Even getting fuel for your generator, unfortunately, power holding company, this is the time they're supposed to do right by the people, so we don't feel it that much. But anyway, even going to buy fuel, you know, for your generator back at home, you're buying at exorbitant prices, 500 thereabout. I mean, yesterday, transportation, I understand transportation that was supposed to cost, that used to cost 200 naira. Okay. It's doubled. Now it's 400. Transportation that used to cost 50 naira is doubled. Now it's 100 naira. So we have all these disadvantages happening, and income has still not increased. Still the same income, still the same payment. But at the end of the day, does the advantage far outweigh the disadvantage? To me, yes. Okay. But should my only reservation when I heard him make that speech on the 29th was I just did hope that he had already set in palliative measures to be able to ease Nigerians into it. But it's seeming like he hasn't. So the effect is just like bang on everyone. But at the end of the day, I understand what's happening. And even based off of what marketers are saying and what the NLC they're saying as well, the fact that you didn't speak with key stakeholders, marketers, the distributors, all of those people, you didn't speak with them before you took this off all of a sudden. So there's all of those angles we have to look at. But at the end of the day, I'm for subsidy removal. I think that it was like a big hole of wastage that a small chunk of people were benefiting from.
Okay.
So I mean,
all right.
That's my take.
Zasha Brown says she is for subsidy removal.
And I think that this is a temporary discomfort. You remember just like the cash crunch period. I know, yes, Nigerians, in fact, I overheard a woman say, the woman was lamenting and she said, since we came into this year, we have not rested as Nigerians. From January, we've not rested. When are we going to rest? It was disheartening to hear her lament like that. But at the end of the day, we want visible change. We want progressive change. And sometimes change takes some pain.
Yes.
So I am hoping that this discomfort that we are feeling, it will be of a progressive change for us, benefit to Nigerians as a whole. So, I mean, there's also us looking at the Dangote refinery that has been commissioned and all of that. So let's just really see how it unfolds. And even marrying it over to, I think a New Telegraph, Tinubu had to come out to say, I didn't say it was going to take immediate effect.
Okay, yeah. I think I read that too.
Yeah, he said from the month of July. So marketers are just going crazy already, shutting down, saying they don't have crude products and all of that. So it's just a crazy time that we're in. But my biggest hope is that actually he has thought this through and he's going to speak with the key stakeholders, and he's going to set in palliative measures to ensure that the effects, on Nigerians, on the citizenry, it's cushioned, and we ease into it, so
All right.
that's my
Thank
take.
you, Natasha Brown, for your thoughts on that particular headline. Okay, looking into the Daily Sun now for further headlines. This one here on page 622 and 25 says, President's subsidy removal statement. Don't dare Nigerians, NLC warns Tinubu. President's subsidy removal statement. Don't dare Nigerians, NLC warns Tinubu. Okay, details of this headline is on page 622 and 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And on page 25 now, this one says, President meets Emefiele Kyari. States weak in debt management, financial transparency. That's according to CBN. President meets Emefiele Kyari. That's on page 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper. On page 28, this one says, Tribunal admits documents tendered by Obi in defense of petition. Tribunal admits documents tendered by Obi in defense of petition. That story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun. And on page 6 now, this one says, Court okays federal government, no work, no pay against ASU. Court okays federal government, no work, no pay against ASU. That's on page 6 of the Daily Sun. On page 27, this one says, Senate leadership. Senate leadership. Kalu in talks with Yari's camp. Senate leadership. Kalu in talks with Yari's camp. Moves to stop Yari. Undemocratic. That's according to Group. Moves to stop Yari undemocratic. That's according to Group on page 27 of the Daily Sun. On page 4 now, this one says, Tinubu orders DSS to vacate EFCC's Lagos office forcefully taking over. Tinubu orders DSS to vacate EFCC's Lagos office forcefully taking over. That's on page 4 of the Daily Sun. On page 5, this one says, death in hotel. Death in hotel. Adedoyin. 2 others to die by hanging over OAU student murder. Death in hotel. Adedoyin. 2 others to die by hanging over OAU student murder. That's on page 5 of the Daily Sun. And on page 22 now, this one says, Zenith Bank named best corporate governance financial service institution in Africa for the 4th time running. Zenith Bank named best corporate governance financial service institution in Africa for the 4th time running. That's on page 22 of Daily Sun. And lastly, in the Daily Sun for today, we have on page 28, this one says, Biafra Day, IPOP shuts down Southeast, 30 arrested in Enugu. Biafra Day, IPOP shuts down Southeast, 30 arrested in Enugu. Masob urges Tinubu to release Kanu. That's details of that headline is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Natasha Brown, talk to me. President's subsidy removal statement. Don't dare Nigerians. NLC warns Tinubu. What do you make of this headline, please?
I mean, the NLC has started again, but I mean, for a good cause. Ajero is doing a good job at the end of the day. But before I just get into the headlines, I mean, I'm wondering, why did Zenith Bank win that award again? They were such a dramatic mess earlier this year, and I'm wondering why they're winning that award. I mean, every Zenith Bank customer is having issues with the bank, so I just
keep wondering how. I keep wondering how as well.
Anyway, I mean, maybe there's something else that we're not seeing. Okay, so back to the NLC statement. They're very much well in their rights, to say what they said, because at the end of the day, they're for the people. They're for Nigerians, they're for the working class. So, I mean, if the working class is hit, I mean, the whole economy is hit at the end of the day. So, definitely, yes. From what I read, that was their reservations with this whole subsidy removal. Like stated earlier, is the fact that he didn't consult key stakeholders. He didn't really necessarily speak with them to understand how to rightly go about it. It just seems like he just came in and he's like, you know what, this has been a long-standing thing. I'm going to get it gone. And they talked rightly about the effect on Nigerians, and we're seeing it all around us. But at the end of the day, we still know that the key take from this, or their key expectation, or their key grievance, or their key reservation is wondering if Tinubu actually did set in palliative measures for the citizenry in order to cushion the effect, right? So I understand the angle that they're coming from. I hope that they're not threatening strike as well, even though I didn't get to read about that just yet, because that would be too much just coming into the...
If they're threatening strike, would it be a surprising factor?
It will, I think they should give him time to be able to settle in and to be able to make us understand that this is for the best of the people, and yes, he has palliative measures already set in place.
Give him time,
right?
while a lot of things are going wrong and Nigerians are hungry, people are
He just came
struggling.
into office. He just came into office, but I mean, I'm not excusing any of those, because I believe that before he got into office, he should have been able to have a sit down.
Exactly what I wanted to say.
And been able to understand the whole process, how to be able to ease us in.
And let's not forget, it was this same he just came into office mentality that allowed Buhari to come in, and then he used about over 3 to 4 years blaming the previous government, saying the previous government didn't do this, the government didn't do that, didn't do this. What are your plans to correct the wrongs of the previous government?
At the end of the day, you know, the media center, you know, for Tinubu, they've actually come out to say, you know, he didn't say it was to happen with immediate effect.
Right. Okay.
Meaning, this month, getting into June, it was supposed to be like an easing type of month before July that is going to take effect. Okay. So now the strain comes from these marketers, these distributors, these crude product handlers who are so eager to just
rip.
Cash in on a certain thing he spoke about, and then, you know, just get all Nigerians
Trust Nigerians now.
Chaos. So at the end of the day, I wish he would actually come out and speak to Nigerians. I'm hoping for that, or maybe release a press statement, you know, to that effect, to make us understand that this is for the best, and also eventually we will see the progressive benefit of it. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. But at the end of the day, yes, NLC, they're doing their job by standing up for the working class, by the citizenry, by the labor force, you know. So, but let them just hold on a bit. I'm all for, let's actually see how this plays out, because he has said there's a month's grace before it takes effect. So let's actually see how this pans out at the end of the day.
All right, let's see how this
But
pans
something
out.
has to be done about the greed of these marketers. I don't understand it.
Okay.
You know, subsidies removed first day, that same day we're already,
maybe
it is a horrible thing to
maybe
behold.
the president himself needs to sit down with, you know, with these marketers.
We're hoping for that.
them.
We're hoping for that anyway.
All right.
We're hoping for that.
We'll go on a break right now, and when we return, we'll take our last paper for the day and we'll call it a day. Please stay tuned.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Yes, you're welcome back. Still on the newspaper review for today. We shall be looking at the New Telegraph now for our last paper for the day. Headlines here on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 28 says, subsidy removal. Tinubu backpedals. Says a policy not taking immediate. I think we talked about this just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. And this one on page 2 and 3 says, no excuse for failure. Pa Fashoranti tells Tinubu, no excuse for failure. Pa Fashoranti tells Tinubu, as that's on page 2 and page 3. On page 5 and 27, this one says DSS. Awolowo road building belongs to us. DSS, Awolowo road building belongs to us. Okay, we have cohabited in Lagos office for 20 years. That's EFCC saying. Tinubu orders DSS out of agency's office. Details of this headline is on page 5 and 27 of the New Telegraph. And on page 25 now, this one says, corporate governance. Zenith Bank sustains best rating award in Africa. Corporate governance. Zenith Bank sustains best rating award in Africa. Okay. And on page 5 and 28 now, this one says, court okays federal government no work, no pay rule against ASU. All right, that's on page 5 and page 28. And on page 3, this one says, Nigeria's Euro bonds. Stocks rally on Tinubu's inaugural speech. Nigeria's Euro bonds. Stocks rally on Tinubu's inaugural speech. That's on page 3 of the New Telegraph. And on page 7 and 28, this one says, alleged $460,000 for feature. Tribunal admits U.S. judgment on Tinubu in Obi's petition. Alleged $460,000 for feature. Tribunal admits U.S. judgment on Tinubu in Obi's petition. Adjourns APM's request against president till Friday. That's on page 7 and 28 of the New Telegraph. And lastly, for today in the New Telegraph, this one says on page 2, 10th NAS. PDP dangles 2027 tickets to stop Akpabio. Abbas. 10th NAS. PDP dangles 2027 tickets to stop Akpabio. Abbas. As opposition's NWC holds retreat in Uyo. APC governors meet today. That's on page 2 of the New Telegraph. All right, just before we call it a day, Dr. Brown, there's a particular headline here which I would really love to hear your opinion on. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. It's been a long time coming for the ASU headline. I think I took it in the first paper and the second paper. But in the last paper, I just cannot overlook it. It's concerning ASU. Got okay in federal government's no work, no pay rule against ASU. What do you make of this?
Before they do that, I hope they have been able to meet the terms that, they agreed to meet, that ASU actually did present, that caused this whole long age strike. We know that during Buhari's time, that almost a year strike that they went on, they had key things that they wanted to get done. They had the part where they had their own stylized payment roll method that they wanted to actually be adopted, and not the generic one. Was it IPIS or something like that. Okay, so at the end of the day, I hope that before they actually have taken up this decision by the court, that they have met the demands that they actually said they were going to put in effect, which Chris Ngige didn't honor at the end of the day. Now, I understand where they're coming from. For example, you're going on strike for a year, you're not working at all. Why am I paying you for those months that you're not teaching?
Okay.
You didn't
doesn't make any sense.
Right, it doesn't make any sense. So I understand the angle that the court is coming from, and I think that definitely should be implemented. But of more importance, of a higher importance, is them meeting the demands of ASU. So we don't keep having this cyclical effect of them going on strike, year in, year out, tenure in. Come on.
Now,
come on.
Let me go a different direction now with this. During the elections, there were some professors that were used to,
yes,
to call
read out the results and all
to
of
carry
that.
out some electoral
It was
malpractices and all of that.
appalling. A number of them that came on there, we were wondering,
that
are these
singular
professors?
act alone really put a red marker or red pen on the name of ASU. In fact, teachers, in fact, lecturers as a whole.
You are
in
wondering,
Nigeria.
What are you reading? What are you saying? What are you computing?
So because of that,
are you really a professor?
do you really think, based on what really happened during the election, do you really think Nigerians will be taking ASU seriously currently, or do you believe ASU should still be taken seriously after putting their integrity in so much jeopardy during the elections?
Well, I would like to say that that's only a handful of professors. I know that there are highly intelligent professors out there. I know that there are highly astute professors out there. In fact, back in school, when I was in university, I had a number of excellent professors that were amazingly intelligent at their craft, and they would just put you through and you just get it at the first go. Like these people, put in the effort to make sure that they traveled and they learned and they researched. Unfortunately, those were not the kind of people that we saw during the INEC, you know. Those were not the kind of people. So peradventure, we had seen this other kind of people, then our bias would have been different. But because they put up a large number of professors that seemed like they didn't even understand the job that they came there to do.
Okay.
Talk more of you being the person that will grade me in school. You know, so it was appalling, the kind of professors, some of them, that came up, you know, to collate results and call results, you know, at the end of the day. But I don't think that should be a premise for us to totally put a red blanket or a red flag over ASU. I don't think that would be fair to them, because...
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't think that would be fair to them. But I still know that there is a large number of... I know there is a larger work of improvement the teaching association needs to do on themselves as a people. But how can you improve yourself if the monies that you need to get your research centers up and running, to fund your own research, to fund your libraries and all of that, is not coming through, right? So I think that it's a hand-in-glove thing. The government, they need to meet their end, you know, and our teachers or our lecturers, they also need to do the part of self-appraisal, where, I mean, is your curriculum up to par? Is your curriculum up to date? Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't think we should totally take them not serious because of what we saw happen during the INEC. But at the end of the day,
but what we saw is what we saw. We can't change what we saw.
It doesn't change the fact, but we still, like I said, there are only a handful of professors. Like I said, I had some excellent professors teach me while I was in school, so I would not put a blanket red mark over all of them. But I know that there's a lot of work our education system needs to do. There's a lot of improvement that we need to do. And what will help to fund that improvement? Funding. Funding will help us do that.
If I get you correctly, you're trying to say we should not judge the son by the sins of the fathers, right?
Well, not totally, because whether we like it or not, there's still the part of hereditary, there's still the part of DNA, there's still the part of background factors.
If actually, like you just said, if actually what you're trying to say is we shouldn't judge the son by the sins of the fathers, and if actually there are still good ones out there, those good ones, those said good ones that are out there, didn't come out to make any noise when all this was going on.
It's unfortunate.
They didn't come out to debunk this particular practice from their colleagues during the election to say we are not in support of such attitude. As a matter of fact, these persons who are doing these things, we deny them totally. They're not one of us. Do things that will make us be like, okay, you are not part of this kind of people. Well, you just kept quiet. And you know, silence means a lot.
Why didn't the INEC
Silence says a lot.
Why didn't the INEC do their due diligence on the kind of professors they were going to bring in there? Why didn't they do that part? Because I know that there are these good professors out there, and these good professors, most of the time, they would not want to model their names in things like Nigerian politics. So there is that part.
Okay.
And so when the aftermath came out and we saw such professors, you know, rubbish themselves, so to speak, I'm sure these other professors looked at them like, we already saw this coming. I'm sure the INEC already knew about it. So yes, they might have been silent, but then there's something called wisdom in your silence at the end of the day. But I do hope that, yes, the court order has said no work, no pay. I understand it and I agree with it, but on a larger scale and of more importance, let them meet the demands of ASU like they said that they will, so that we don't keep having this incessant strike come in, come out, and then we don't keep having poorly churning out graduates that can't even use the computer or whatever. You know, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And we're hoping for the best.
Yes, we're hoping for the best. Thank you so much, Natasha Brown, for your time with me on the program today. I really do appreciate it. And I want to say a big thank you to you, my wonderful viewers who have been faithful to your screen up until this time. Thank you, because without you, this program won't be possible. Cyril Aloysius is my name, and please, if you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe to this channel and follow us on our different social media platforms, okay? You can check us out on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. On Instagram, we are TAV_TV_NG, and the other platforms, we are TAV TV, all right? So it's a bye for now until we come your way again next time. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.